Throw out every battle prediction you have ever made. Close every comic book tab you have open right now. Because here at DramaCrypt, we have cracked the genetic secret that this show has been hiding behind 5 seasons of pure explosive hatred. And I am warning you right now, this is going to hurt. While the entire internet is sitting around waiting for Butcher to finally snap Homelander's neck in the Season 5 finale, the truth is so much more devastating than that. Because this legendary, blood-soaked war between these two men is not a hero versus villain story. It is a brother's quarrel. Yeah, you heard that correctly. Sit down. Have you ever stopped and genuinely asked yourself, why did Vought let Billy Butcher chase their most valuable asset for years without simply eliminating him? Why, when Butcher injected himself with Temp V, did he develop the exact same laser vision as Homelander? Not Soldier Boy's power set, but that specific ability. The answer to every single one of those questions is the same. Homelander and Billy Butcher share biological DNA from the same mother. Today, we are walking through the evidence piece by piece, and by the time we are done, you will never be able to watch this show the same way again. So lock in, because this one goes all the way to the bone. To understand how this conspiracy works, we need to talk about Connie Butcher when she was young. When the show gave us that Season 2 visit with Billy's mother, most people watched that scene and filed it away under sad backstory. But what if Connie Butcher was in fact a living biological archive that Vought had been quietly protecting for decades? Here is the theory. At some point before Billy was born, Connie was subjected to a classified Vought genetic engineering program. These were early Compound V trials designed to produce a stable super. Something foundational. The trials failed to turn Connie into a superhero, but they permanently rewired her genetic composition at the cellular level. Vought kept her biological files because her cells were the only recorded human sample that could fully absorb Compound V without triggering systemic toxicity. She was the perfect host. And when Vaught's most ambitious project, the one that would produce Homelander, needed a genetic foundation that could actually survive the process, they used Connie's genetic material. Her eggs. Her DNA. Which means Homelander was engineered in a laboratory using Connie Butcher's biology, and Billy Butcher was born naturally from that exact same woman. They are half-brothers. One was manufactured, one was raised. Both were, in every meaningful biological sense, her sons. Now here is where the theory stops being a theory and starts feeling like a case. When Butcher doses himself with Temp V in Season 3, his power set is a near-perfect mirror of Homelander's ability profile. Laser vision, enhanced strength. The show frames this as dramatic irony, but what if it is biology? If both men trace their genetic origin back to the same source, the V does not give them random powers. It activates what was already written into their shared code. And look at what Huey calls the dark side. Every member of the boys has expressed genuine fear about the part of Butcher that seems to almost enjoy the violence. What if Butcher's psychological darkness carries a genetic predisposition toward a specific kind of cold, controlling dominance? The same predisposition that produced Homelander. Homelander got the power. Butcher got the rage. Both came from the same raw material. In the original comic books, Vought created a failsafe. They engineered a literal clone of Homelander, Black Noir, specifically designed to look and act just like him, waiting for the day Homelander finally lost his mind. But the show completely threw that storyline out the window, leaving a massive hole in Vaught's survival strategy. So who did the writers choose to replace that comic book failsafe? Who is the ultimate weapon hidden in plain sight? The answer is Billy Butcher. The showrunners did not just clone Homelander in a sterile lab. They went backwards. They went looking for the source code. They went looking for the mother. This explains why Butcher is still alive. Vought has eliminated threats far less dangerous than him. Stan Edgar is not a man who leaves loose ends breathing. Vought kept him alive because a man with Homelander's genetic baseline, pointed directly at Homelander, is the most elegant control mechanism ever designed. You do not need a cage for a weapon if you have another weapon aimed at it. Vought weaponized a brother against a brother, and they watched the whole thing play out like a board game. Picture the final confrontation. Everything has collapsed. Butcher is holding the weapon, and Homelander is standing across from him, broken. Not performing, just broken, because everything he built has come apart around him. And Butcher is a second away from ending it, from closing the chapter on Becca, on Ryan, on every loss that has hollowed him out. And then the truth surfaces. The genetic reality hits both of them at the same moment. And the psychological devastation is total. Because Homelander, this man who has spent his entire existence begging for a family, realizes that the one person he has always wanted to kill is the closest thing to a brother he has ever had. The woman he has spent years mourning as his lost mother was Butcher's mother too. The family he could never have was standing across from him with a weapon pointed at his chest the entire time. For 5 entire seasons, we have watched Homelander desperately, pathologically hunt for a mother's love. He has clung to corporate executives like a sick toddler, all because he was starved of a mother's touch. And now he learns the truth. The mother he would have burned the entire world just to meet lived a quiet, ordinary life. And the only son she ever got to hold, the only son she ever loved, was Billy Butcher. While Homelander was crying in dark rooms, begging for family, Butcher was standing at their mother's funeral. Butcher had her love. Butcher had her warmth. And in Homelander's twisted, broken mind, Butcher stole the only thing that could have saved him. And Butcher's collapse is equally complete. Because he will have to look at the man he has defined his entire adult life by hating, and realize that the hatred was never really about Homelander. It was about himself. About the darkness inside him that he recognized in someone else and could not stand to look at. The cruelty he feared was genetic. The monster he was hunting was a reflection. This does not end with a hero defeating a villain. It ends with a massacre inside a family. Homelander weeping because he finally found his blood and it is trying to kill him. Butcher pulling the trigger anyway because the mission does not stop just because the target turns out to be your brother. The cycle that Vought engineered from the very beginning, using one life to control another, finally closing. That is the ending this show deserves. That is the darkness at the center of The Boys, and I genuinely believe the show has been building toward it from the beginning. Vought did not just create monsters, they created a family, and then set the family on fire, and sold tickets to the blaze. Now I need to hear from you in the comments right now. After everything we just walked through, do you think Butcher pulls the trigger when he finds out the truth? Or does Homelander surrender and let his big brother be the one to end it? The most detailed breakdown is getting pinned. And if this theory cracked something open in your brain, hit that like button and subscribe right now. Because the next episode is going to blow the roof off this entire conversation. This has been DramaCrypt. We go all the way to the bone. Peace.